All right. Hello, everybody. Very much for joining. My name is Colin Woodford. I am the marketing manager for Specialty LED here at GE Current. With me today, I have the pleasure of being joined by Mike Doss, who is the general manager of Specialty, as well as Natalie Pico, who is the product manager for Signage. So with that, guys, I will leave it to you.
All right, super. So, if we could go to the agenda slide, please. Whoops. All right, we're having a few technical difficulties here. Okay, before we begin on the agenda, I want to point out one thing. We have a question and answer button at the bottom left-hand corner. So for those of you who have joined, we won't be able to hear you. Obviously, if you have questions at any point during the presentation, please just head down to that Q&A button there and enter them in. We're going to try to take 5 minutes at the end of this just to answer those, right? So please, at any point, ask whatever questions you have. We will do our best to get to them all. All right, so what is it we are talking about today? We are going to talk about COVID-19. Obviously, this is top of mind for everyone, given that probably most of you are at home listening to this rather than at your office. We are going to give a brief team update. We've had some new team members join us, different team members change positions. We're super excited about that. We're going to give a little update on LED Wizard 8. And then we will get into products, right? Which I will present a little bit later on. So if we shift then to COVID-19, Mike, you want to take this one?
I will. Can you hear me, Natalie?
Sure can.
Okay, good. So thanks everybody for taking the time. As like everyone, I am working from home right now. It's very interesting to say the least. So in terms of, if you can switch slides, Colin, please. Okay, has the slide changed? I've done it. I want to make sure it's the first time I'm using this. Natalie, have you seen the slide change?
Yes, so we're on COVID-19 slide.
Okay, good. So first of all, we're all working remote, the people that can. The plants are functioning. So all of our manufacturing locations are fully functional. We have inventory on all of our items. And we have multiple different plants in multiple different countries. Should there be any changes, spikes in demand, issues in certain countries, we have some flexibility on where we can produce all of our signage products. Okay? So obviously we are protecting our employees like every company should be doing right now. So the social distancing is being enforced. And we are completely really monitoring the situation, complying with all public health guidance. One thing that's not on the slide is we have been deemed an essential service to society, so we will be staying open for an extended amount of time, if not for the duration of this. So as a company, we've been deemed essential. Therefore, in terms of supplying to the market, we're going to be sticking around. We don't have any locations right now that are shut down. They are working on different procedures, that's for sure. But rest assured, we have inventory and we're fully operational and can support any demand on any product that's out there. Okay? So if you have any questions, you can put them in the Q&A, as Natalie said. If not, we can continue to the next slide.
Okay, your other resource, if you have any concerns about COVID-19 or supply or any of that, please feel free to reach out to your regional sales managers or whoever your contact is at GE Current, right? We will always be willing to help you out. And if you have any issues, concerns, we'll deal with them together. So for the team update, Paul Gramza has recently been promoted to National Sales Manager. So I'm super excited about that. I've worked with Paul for a while. He's a great guy, does a great job. And then a new hire, or I suppose an old new hire, is Greg Donovan is coming back. He did work with us as a sales development manager in the past. Mike, help me out here. Is it circa 2006, I want to say?
Yeah, that's in the 2009 time frame. He was with us for about 5 years. very known in the industry, always stayed connected. So we're pretty excited. But I don't think we're as excited as he is of coming back. So very good addition to our team.
Yeah, that's it. So we're super excited about those two. And their contact information there is on the bottom. Paul, obviously you know that his contact information hasn't changed. Greg, if you'd like to reach out to him, his email is there on the bottom, and I'm sure he'd be happy to speak with you.
And if he owed you any money, this is the time for him to pay up. All right. So we're getting onto LED Wizard right now. We wanted to make this clear. We are on LED Wizard. We have two options. This is the tool that we have to be able to make drawings. Drawings is the type of thing that you need, and it's always like you always need it now. If you want something extremely fast, the fastest way to go to LED.com, go on the online estimator. It's on there, and you're going to get your estimations right then and there. Okay. You don't need to download anything, and it's accessible from anywhere. On the right-hand side, you see the typical layout. When we started with the online estimator a few years ago, it was very basic. It has gained a lot of functionality in the last couple of years. So if you haven't gone there in a while because you thought it was limited, you should go back and look at the new functionality. You can do a lot more fonts, more different options, and you can do cabinet signs, you can do channel letters as well. If you need something more extensive, you used to have to purchase LED Wizard as a desktop version. Now you can download it for free for LED Wizard 8. And then you have the where to download right there, ledwizard8.com. And you'll have access to our modules and everything. And if you need something that's more than what our online estimator has to deliver in terms of functionality, you want some custom fonts, some custom shapes, then you'll need the desktop version. You'll be able to do it yourself. We also have our team that will do your manual layout, so that's the same as before. So there are actually three options. What's listed here is what you can all do by yourself extremely fast. If you have a program or you have a more detailed sign that you'd like us to look at, we have our existing team is obviously still there and can get all your drawings done. Okay, so that's the latest update on LED Wizard 8.
Yeah, for those of you who are not familiar with the online estimator, that's a really good way in order to get some really fast quotes, right? If you have to bid something quickly, a one-off, right, and you want something really fast to have a good idea of what you're going to put in there, that online tool is great. So remember that's there. So if you go to our website, you should see the link there. There's a big button right on the home page of the Signage website. You should be able to have access there. All right, so now we are talking about what's new. We're going to talk about three things for you today. We're going to start with Select Gen 3. So for those of you who are familiar, we have a 12-volt platform out called Select Gen 2, right? We are upgrading that to Gen 3, which is great. The primary difference between Gen 2 and Gen 3 is the loading. So we have worked very hard in order to be able to increase the loading without giving up any of the other performance characteristics. So all of the light output remains the same, efficiency remains the same, all that good stuff that you know and love of Select Gen 2 is the same. It's just you're now able to put more modules on a power supply. We will be launching small and medium first. So those are basically the workhorses of Select anyhow. So small and medium in the white color temperature will be launched to Select Gen 3, and very small and large will follow afterward. Just so everyone is clear, this is on the whites only. The colors we have left unchanged. So small and medium in the 65K will have this extra loading. So that's fantastic. We're really excited about that. If we go to the next slide. There we are. The next one I want to talk to you about is Tetra Atom. So we have developed a teeny weeny little module that is really great in very, very small applications. And shallow applications is shallow as 1 inch. So this is going to be part of our Tetra platform, our 24-volt platform. So it'll be in addition to that family. If we want to compare the Atom to the MS, so the MS Previous to now, when we're doing this launch, the MS was our smallest module. So if you look at the right-hand side of the slide, you can actually see a comparison there. So the one on the top is the MS, and the one on the bottom is the Atom. You can see it's much, much smaller. So this really will help you get into those small, hard to get into spaces where you need to put in something very small. If we're going to look at a comparison in terms of performance, right? We've condensed the modules. There's a couple more modules per foot. So the MS, there's 4. The Atom, there's 6. This is to help with uniformity and get into small spaces. The lumens per module have upped a little bit compared to the MS. So if you're looking at that, that'll give you 186 lumens per foot total on the Atom, which is fantastic. And the lumens per watt is the same. So that's also good news for everyone out there. Beam angle, obviously for those really small modules, especially when you have them in shallow applications, you have to make sure that you have some good uniformity on the fine face, right? So we have put in a 165-degree beam angle from end to end on the module. So if you are looking at the picture on the right-hand side, that would be 165 degrees from left to right, let's call it, and then 140 degrees on the width. So if you were to say up and down, that's 140 degrees. So this should help maintain consistent uniformity at the fine face, even with these really, really shallow depths. The loading is great, right? We're always very proud of our loading in our 24-volt channel letter products, and this is no different. You can do up to 50 feet or 300 modules. That's something that we are very proud of as well. If I hit the next slide, color temperatures. So this one,
hey Natalie, I'm interrupting you.
Yeah.
Natalie, I apologize. Could you go back to Adam? I do want to highlight something to everyone. When you go in the applications, you're like, okay, where do I use this? Obviously, very shallow letters. When you have routed acrylic, any application that you have tape system in there, a lot of people say, hey, do you have 24-volt tape? That is available, not as common, but you can use modules in those applications. If you have those routed acrylic or you have the tape running on the side of any of the channel letters, you can go and really crunch up those modules together. You'll have every benefit that you like about having modules, the reliability, and then the warranty that goes with it, the loading, that's great at 24 volt, but you won't have any of the downside that you'll have on the tape system. Okay, so I did want to highlight that. You can really twist that wire between the modules, and that wire is not stranded. It's you can twist it, and when you put it there, it's not going to move. So shadowing down the line, it's not going to be an issue. Adam has a gauge of wire that's in there that's not going to move down the line, which is important for shops. Sorry about that, Natalie.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, absolutely. Those are great points. So, Mike, to your point, it's 20 gauge wire we have on there, which is great. I think some of the competitors we see have a slightly thinner wire. Ours is slightly thicker. So to your point, it really does help the modules stay in place. If, for example, one happens to unstick or move around while you're trying to install it, it's not going to just flop all over the place. It really will stay there. So that's definitely a nice feature. If you're talking about performance and flexibility, another thing I wanted to point also was you can condense this module quite nicely, right? So it's in there at 6 per foot, but if you stick them end to end, you can fit 12 modules per foot. So if there's an application where either, we're worried about uniformity because it's super shallow, or if you just need an extra little pop of light there for whatever reason, you can get up to 372 lumens a foot on this thing. If you condense it really end to end, about 12 modules a foot. So that's fantastic as well. In terms of how can you get this, right? So you can get these in all the flavors that you're used to getting our channel letter products in, 71K, 5000, 41, and 32, which is great. And if you look at loading, loading is always nice to have. This saves you time, it saves you money, right? So we can do up to twice as many feet as some of our closest competitors, right? So that's excellent for you as well. Something
hey, Natalie,
we're going to talk about.
I'm interrupting you. There is a question I know we said at the end, but me and rules. David McCombs is asking when it will be available. Tetra Atom, when the availability date.
Tetra Atom, I believe we will have the last shipment in 2 weeks or so. So look for it then, right? That's when we'll do the formal launch.
Okay, 2 weeks. Thank you.
Yeah. So we were talking about loading. If I just take you back in this presentation, there's a point that I forgot to mention, you guys, which, I mean, you probably already know, but I wanted to highlight on the 12-volt select. Because we've been able to increase our loading there, what does this mean for you guys, right? In terms of use, this means obviously less time, less money in labor, less money in power supplies, right? So our aim is to always get the performance that you expect from a GE Current product at a better price point. So this is what we're doing here when we increase the loading of the Select Gen 3. So it's saving time, saving money, saving installation, right? The faster you can make these signs, the more throughput you can have in your shops or your customers' shops, which is always fantastic. All right, so one additional thing I want to talk to you guys about that I do not have a slide for, but you know, you guys can use your imaginations. I wanted to let you know that we are now launching our channel letter products, our 24-volt Tetra channel letters in 65K. You'll notice that it's available here in the Atom, which is great. You will now also be able to get them in all the other flavors of the Tetra products. So we're talking MS, we're talking Mini Max, Max, Power Max, and Power Max HO. So all those 5 products are now readily available in 65K. If you have a program or a spec somewhere where rather than our standard 71, 55 is required, you can get all of our 24-volt channel letter products in the 65 with all the added benefits, right? So the loading is the same, the light output is the same, all those great things that you've come to expect from Tetra will be available in those products. All right. So seeing as we're all stuck at home here, right, either listening to webinars or giving webinars from home, we are going to try to do them a little bit more frequently now than we have in the past. So look out for another webinar coming in May. At that point, we will be talking a little bit more about some of the other products we will be launching, right? Rather than having them all come out at ISA, which is what basically everyone usually plans to. We're going to do them in these webinars. So we will have another one in May where we will talk about a couple more products that we will have coming your way soon that we are super excited about. So I urge you to sign up for the one in May as well. So it is about 20 past. We are slightly ahead of schedule, which I got to say, usually with Mike on the phone is a surprise. For those of you who know him, he likes to talk, but here we are. Let me see if I can hit the Q&A button. Mike, have you been able to go through any of these? Are there any here that we can answer?
Yeah, I did. Yes. One of the questions, obviously, is can these slides be made available? Yes. These slides are available. We'll make them available for anyone that asks for them, that need them. So let me just go in the order they came in, okay? So, okay, here we go. Okay. Mark, Mark McCool had a question. One of the questions, can the new loading lengths for Select Gen 3 still be installed in a single string? That's one question. Natalie, you want to take that one?
Yes, absolutely. And the answer is yes, right? So you will see a little bit of light drop, but really not that much. So if you install them at the one end, you can absolutely install them on a single string. If you want to be really picky about the consistency of your light output from the first to last, it is recommended that you place it in the middle, but these ones can absolutely 100% be done in one string.
Okay. I do want to add one thing on Select. If you're looking at that category of module, obviously call them the price fighters, or something that you'll have to your everyday module, depending on how you call that. You have a lot of options out there. One thing that Select has that most other modules do not is it has some form of current regulation. It's not pure constant current like you'd have on 24 volt, but it is something that we do in an analog fashion that will give you consistency in light output in your module. Between the first and the last, you will see less variation in light output than you would with a straight resistor-based current control, which is the most basic way that you can do current control in a module without getting into too much detail. But, if you load, Select versus another module that's in that range, you will not see as big a difference on the first and the last module in terms of light intensity. Okay, so I did want to highlight that. There was a couple of comments. People said that Atom looks great. It really looks great. It's a very small module. If you compare it with a Sloan equivalent that's 12 volt, the loading is going to be phenomenal through the roof, and it is extremely small. It's going to fit into very small applications, and it's going to be available in 2 weeks, as Natalie said. There was a question on 3M. It's a longer question around specific flexible substrates and specifically designed for LEDs that 3M has made available, and they're more translucent. We do have experience with that. What we'll do is that I think it's Mauricio from 3M has asked that question. We're going to give you a specific answer, more technical, but I'll give to everyone. I'll give our experience with that fabric. Yes, it does. It's very different. It does let more light pass through. What is, we're working something like this. Do you recommend an LED reference is the question. And when you have that type of film, obviously making one sign is always the best. That for any module that's out there, you do the first test sign because it does change. If you want to spread the light as much as possible, so a wide optic is always going to help because it's going to bounce around the sign, and that's going to come out more uniformly on the face of the material. It's hard to answer that question specifically. It's pretty general. Every fabric is different. You'd have to make some tests, but the general guidance is that the wider your beam distribution is going to be, the more bouncing around you're going to have inside of the either the channel or in this case it'd be a flex face, it'd be a box sign most likely. Then you would really need to have the wide optic like what we have on our Tetra or even our Select product line. It's very wide. Okay. We'll get you a more technical answer on the specific 3M product that you're referring to. A lot of just good feedback on what was stated. Okay, the loading on Atom is great. Now, samples for reps of our distribution customers that are online right now to get samples. Yes, you will get samples for Atom and any of the new products. Those will be made available as usual. When will Atom be available? That was answered in 2 weeks. Slideshow we answered. Okay, many of the clients are asking why the lower color temperature is 3200, whereas many other suppliers are giving 2700. I don't know, Natalie, I have an answer, but I'll stop talking and let you take a stab at this one.
Sure. I mean, I'll give an answer, and then Mike, if you have some color to add to that, please go ahead. So generally speaking, when you have a light behind a face, by the time it gets through the face, it drops in color temperature. So that's part of the reasons why we offer 71 as our standard. By the time it drops to the face, you're hitting probably around 65 or so, give or take, which is sort of industry standard, right? So that's why we offer the 71. It's the same thing for the 32. Right, so once the light passes through the face, the color temperature will actually drop to give you somewhere around that 2700 range, which perhaps is slightly more standard.
Yes, that's very true. We made some tests, especially early on in the Tetra product line, which we invented about 15 years ago. And going through the face actually drops your CCT, exactly as Natalie said. That's one of the reasons. But nevertheless, if there's a product out there that's 2700, We don't see as much request for 2700. You'll see a lot of that in the architectural product line, which we have available in other areas. I'm not saying that your specific application, we have the 2700. It might be available in another category, which is architecture. We can add 2700 Kelvin chips, of course. There's not a huge demand on it. If there's a specific program, application, you can reach out to your local GE Current rep, and we can look at that. And there's always an option of creating that. But the simple answer to your question is there is not enough demand for 2700, but 3200, we have a few programs on that. Okay, so that's the answer. If you need more details, do not hesitate to reach out to your GE rep. Question here, will Tetra 12 volts still be available? Natalie, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So for the time being, it absolutely is, right? So we don't have any immediate plans to phase out. I will say in the future, not currently, in the future, at some point, it probably will be phased out to be taken over by the 24-volt product. But for the time being, we are still selling and producing Tetra 12 volts.
What I would add is that as we move forward, obviously the Select product line is a 12-volt system also. But the Tetra 12 volts, people love it. The people that love it, they really love it. So it's still made available. We haven't put a date yet on moving on that, but the volume has definitely shifted over and then some over to 24 volt, as most shops have seen the labor material savings associated with 24 volt. Okay, a question here from Phil. Is the Select Gen 3 spec sheet available? Natalie?
Yeah, we have it ready. As we get closer to product being available, we'll put it up on the web. But if you're interested in having it, I can most definitely send it to you, yes.
And I will ask the question everybody's wondering, when is Select Gen 3 going to be available?
And that should be, we are getting the shipment in currently. So the medium will be the first one to be on our shelves, and we're looking at about 3 weeks from now.
Okay, in about 3 weeks, we're going to get the highest runner, which is the medium Select Gen 3, and the others coming in the following weeks after that, I'm assuming?
That's exactly it. So we're going to do the the small and the medium first. So the small will be coming shortly after that. But the first one to come is the medium, and that's when it's going to be available.
Perfect. I think that's what we have, and we're pretty much right on time. If there are no more questions, I'm not seeing anything on the Q&A. Give it another 10 to 20 seconds. In the meantime, I'm going to thank Natalie, thank the team here for setting this up, and more importantly, thank everyone for taking the time and to really make sure that everybody stays safe. We'll move forward with this, but please rest assured, if you want a takeaway, is that we're all fully operational here at GE Current, and we're going to do so, and we have inventory, and we're here to serve you. So if you have any type of requirements, make sure to reach out to ourselves and to your local reps, and please join the next webinar. We can't contain ourselves to show you the next innovation that we've been working on for the past few months. So Natalie, any closing remarks?
No, that's it. I think you've hit the nail on the head there, Mike. Thank you, everyone, and please, everyone, stay safe.
Thank you, everyone.